So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a tutorial, and it's going to be over the look, or a very similar look to what I wore in my favorite lip liner video. I had so many of you guys asking what eyeshadow I was wearing in that video, and it was actually the Tartelette in Bloom palette. So I am going to be using this palette today. I definitely recommend it if you're looking for a really good palette that has, you know, a lot of warm shades, but also some neutral shades too. So I'm going to be using this palette. The first shade that I'm going to go in with is the shade Sweetheart, which is right down here at the bottom. I'm a huge fan of mixing warm shadows and cool shadows together. I would say 9 times out of 10, I really like warmer looks on myself personally with my blue eyes. But when I do feel like I don't want like it to be so warm and like an orange eye, you know what I mean? I will actually go in with cooler shades and mix warm and cool together to give me more of like a neutral look. So that's actually what I'm going to be doing today. So I am going to go in with the shade right here called Sweetheart, and I'm just going to go in with a fluffy blending brush and start working that through the crease, and then start doing circular motions to blend that out. You don't really have to be too precise with this color because it is just going to be the blending or transition shade. You just want to make sure that you get it into that socket, and then you can just kind of, you know, be a little bit sloppy on that outer corner because we can just take that away with concealer. Okay, so I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other side. I just like to start kind of in the center for this look and then blend towards the inner corner and then the outer corner. All right, and then next I'm going to go in with this shade right here called Smarty Pants. I get so much use out of this shade. It's a really great kind of neutral brown. It pulls a little bit warm, but it's not like super warm. So I'm going to go in with that shade next, and I'm just going in with that same brush that I just used, and I'm going to place it right over Smarty Pants, but bring it down just a little bit lower. I'm really focusing this shade in the crease more than anything. Once I get it blended through the crease, I'm going to start working it down onto the lid. And I'm just going to take it about 1/4 of the way in. If you do have bigger lids, you can actually bring it in about halfway in. But again, that's a personal preference. If you prefer to keep it, you know, more towards the outer corner, you totally could. All right, now I'm going to go in with a big fluffy blending brush that's clean, that has no product on it. And I'm just going to blend everything out so there's no harsh lines. And now I'm going to go in with another cooler shade. This one here at the top is called Jet Setter, and that's the, oops, I guess you can't see it. The one here at the top is called Jet Setter. That's the one that I'm going to go in with next. It's kind of like a taupey gray, and the first shade that we put down was cool. Then we went in with a more like warm shade, and now I'm going to go in with another cool shade, and then I'm going to end with a warm shade. So I kind of like to layer them on top of each other. So now I'm going to go in with just a little bit of a more like defined brush for this. This is the Morphe E17, so it is tapered still, but it is a little bit more defined, so it's going to fit in that socket a little tighter. So I'm just going to dip my brush into Jet Setter and start applying that right on the outermost part of my eye. And I am going to stay below the crease for this color. I'm not going to take it above the crease is what I'm trying to say. I'm just going to place it kind of like on that outer 1/4 of the eye and just kind of wiggle my brush around just to get the placement. And again, you can fan it out because we can always clean that up later. I much rather have my eyeshadows really blended versus not so messy where I can clean it up and too harsh, you know what I mean? So I don't mind kind of making a mess and cleaning it up. It's kind of like a cook in the kitchen. You know, they always say good cooks never have a clean kitchen. You gotta make a mess to make a good meal. It's kind of how I feel about an eyeshadow look. Gotta make a mess, you know, so you get a good outcome. All right, so then I'm gonna go back in with that blending brush just to make sure we have everything blended. And I decided I'm gonna go ahead and do my lid color first and then go back in and kind of like deepen up that outer corner. So I'm gonna go in with the shade. I'm debating if I wanna do Firecracker or Funny Girl. I think I'm gonna do Firecracker and make it look a little bit more bronzy. So I'm gonna start out by just applying this right in the center of my lid. And I don't have any Fix Plus or anything like that on it right now. I'm just gonna put one layer of just the eyeshadow, and then I'll go in with a second layer with a Fix Plus on it. So how I like to apply my lid shades that are more shimmery, I like to do like kind of like little dabby motions and then kind of press and wiggle so that it really gets onto the lid and stays there instead of like just, you know, going in and wiping and moving it all around. Exact same thing to this eye, starting in the middle, pressing it, and then kind of like buffing it in. So now I'm just grabbing a little bit more of that eyeshadow, and I'm gonna spray my brush with Fix Plus now. Just a really light spray. I don't like it like sopping wet or too heavy. And then I'm just gonna dab that right in the center. And this is just gonna intensify the shadow and make it look a little bit more bam. So I don't know if you guys can tell on camera or not, but it just makes it stand out a little bit more and just like a little bit more in your face instead of so subdued. So I'm gonna do the exact same thing to this eye. I hope you guys are seeing how pretty it is because it is so beautiful in person. I'm obsessed. It seriously looks like I have like just like gold foil on my eyelids, which I think is so pretty. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just deepen that outer corner just a little bit. I kind of debated on this because I really like the way that it looks now, but I think I am gonna deepen out just a little bit. And I think I decided I want to take 2 different shades because I don't want it to be super, super warm on that outer corner, but I also don't want it to be too cool either. So I'm gonna mix Activist and Rebel together just a tiny bit and kind of smoke it out and create kind of like a liner effect with it. So to do this, I'm just taking any angled brush and I'm just gonna pick up both of the colors and then just start to place that where I would apply eyeliner. This is also gonna help my lashes that I apply to have like a little home, like a base to lay on. And then I'm just gonna take a pencil brush and dab into both of those colors once again, and then I'm just gonna pop that right on the outermost part of my eye. And I'm not going to bring this in too far at all because I don't want it to be like a super dramatic, like dark smoky look. Even though I feel like this is kind of what it's turning into. And then I'm just going to take my blending brush and blend that in. I'm actually using the first brush that I went in with, so this isn't technically the big blending brush. This is the, you know, kind of like middle size one. But the great thing about this look is that if you didn't want to go this dramatic or deep and dark, you didn't have to. Like it looked really good without the, you know, like the liner part or the smoked out part, you know, on the outer corner. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do my brow bone highlight. I'm gonna take the shade called Charmer in the palette, which is right here at the top corner, which is a matte shadow that's a little bit more creamy, which is what I really am going for this look, just because I do have so much shimmer going on the lid. And I'm just gonna pop that right at the highest point of the brow bone. I really hope the camera is picking this up because I don't feel like it is, but I hope it is. If not, I'll insert pictures so you guys can really see the lid color because it is honestly so beautiful. And I am going to go ahead and do under my eyes just because I am getting a little bit of fallout. And once I do the rest of my makeup, I don't want, you know, a bunch of eyeshadow on my face. So I'm going to go ahead and take a definer brush and I'm going to grab the shade Sweetheart and Smarty Pants. So both of the shades that I used at the beginning. And I'm going to grab them on this little brush right here and start popping that right on my lower lash line, or right under my lower lash line. I'm gonna try to keep it pretty light under there just because I do have so much going on the top now. Okay, so before I do lashes, I'm gonna go ahead and do my face and then do my lashes last. So I do have self-tanner on my face. I was self-tanning earlier today. I didn't leave it on a full 24 hours, which I should have, or not 24 hours, the full 8 hours, which I should have, but I didn't. So I went ahead and washed it off so I could film this video, and then I put moisturizer on. My skin is just not blotchy, I mean it's tanned, but the darker spots I have on my face from hyperpigmentation, it like really made them dark. And I don't always self-tan my face, like usually at all, because I really like my skincare to, you know, be the only thing on my face at night. But I went ahead and did it today because my hair is dark and I just needed a little bit of color. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to primer. I just wanted to let you guys know why my face was a little bit darker today, which I'm pretty sure you guys probably guessed it already. So I'm going to go in with 2 primers today. I'm going to go in with the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water and then the Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer. So I'm going to pop these both on and move on to foundation. And then for foundation, I'm going to be using this brand new foundation that I've actually been testing out over the last couple of days. This is the Covergirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir Foundation. And this is in the shade 732, which is nude beige. And I was gonna actually wait until my next video to use this, but this is the only foundation that matches me right now with my face self-tan, so I'm gonna use this one today. And to give you guys kind of like a mini review on my thoughts on this foundation, I actually really like it. I don't feel like it's a super dewy finish, and I don't feel like it's a matte finish either. It's a really beautiful satin, but it doesn't last the longest. Like it only lasts me I would say like 5 hours, and then it starts to wear off. Like a pretty noticeable like wear off situation on my face. And I do have dry skin, so take that into consideration. I'm not sure how someone with oily skin would like it. I don't think it would last too long on them unless they were using like a really good mattifying primer and then a really great setting spray. I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of split on it. I think the finish is so beautiful. Like, I don't know if you guys can see on camera or not, but it is definitely full coverage. I would say very buildable medium coverage. If you use a beauty blender, you're not gonna get like a super full coverage right off the bat, but you can build it up to full coverage like really nicely like I just did, and I really love the finish. So if you guys have tried it, you'll have to let me know your thoughts on it, and let whoever watches this video know in the comments below, because someone may have a different skin type than me, and your opinion can totally help them out if you have tried it. So definitely let me know what you think about it if you have tried it, but I really am loving the finish of it. I'm just trying to figure out how to make it last longer. And to be really honest, I've never been a fan of Covergirl foundations, and I've told you guys this many times on my channel, and actually Covergirl as a brand, I've never really been a huge fan of. I don't know why. I just hate the smell of their products, and I also hate the smell of this foundation. I don't like it. It's just had a very strong chemical smell to me, and I'm not into that. But I really have been enjoying this foundation, besides the fact that it doesn't really last long, which is actually really important. So I don't know. I'm 50-50. Maybe I'll end up loving this foundation, or maybe I will not. I've actually only used it a couple times now, so to be continued. I'll definitely keep you guys posted on it. Now for concealer, I'm going to go in with two of my favorites. This is the Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Light Medium, and then the Milani Retouch Plus Erase Light Lifting Concealer, and this is in the shade Light. I'm going to mix both of them together. This one obviously gives me the most amazing full coverage, but this one really helps to brighten things under my eyes and make it look not so flat and dull, so that's why I like to mix them together. And I am going to go ahead and pop some on the center of my face just to balance things out. And I feel like this is the first time that the Tarte Shape Tape is actually a little bit too light for me, which is never the case. This is actually a little too dark for me, and that's what I usually complain about. But because my face is, like I said, self-tanned right now, it's actually a little too light for me. But I'm gonna work with it and make it work. Once I have the concealer blended in like under my eyes, I always like to go back in with this like fat chubby part at the end and bounce it along the seam so that there's no like line between my concealer and my foundation. I'm trying to stay really focused in this video and just talk about what I'm doing instead of being too chatty. But the last video that I did that was like a chatty get ready with me, oh my gosh, you guys, I had an hour and a half of me talking that I had to edit, which was like ridiculous. And I'm like, there's no way I'm doing that again. I have so many stories I could tell you guys right now though. Like there's some crazy stuff happening. We have this cat that's like stuck in our garage for the last 3 days. And it's just like this crazy story. So I could totally go on about that. I kind of shared a little bit of that with you guys on my Snapchat, but like, I don't know, there's so many crazy things that I could talk to you guys about because it's like, what time is it? Like 11:30 at night. Tim's at work and I'm just sitting in front of this camera, so I can totally fill you in, but I will spare you. But if you don't follow me on Snapchat, you totally should. I pretty much post on there every single day because that's what I do. So now I'm going to go ahead and just set my face with some powder. This is the Ambient Diffused Light Powder by Hourglass. I really like this powder because it doesn't leave my face chalky or cakey or dry or anything like that, but it does a really great job of just setting my foundation without changing my foundation so that I can apply bronzer without moving it around. And I'm just using a big fluffy brush to just like press this in my skin. I don't really go in with like rubbing motions because again, I don't want to move my foundation around. And I usually try to just focus it on the areas that I am going to be applying bronzer and blush and things like that. So basically right through here and then on the forehead. And then I think I'm going to go in with another Hourglass product for my bronzer. I'm going to be using the Ambient Luminous Bronze Light, an oldie but a goodie for me. I used to love this stuff, wear it all the time. Kind of steered away from it for a little bit just because I was trying other things. But that is what I'm going to use today. And I'm just going to go in with this brush if I can get it out. I got this new little brush organizer, which is really cute. I need to go through it again and kind of clear out my like everyday brushes so that they all fit in there. But the brush that I'm going to be using today is the Real Techniques blush brush, but I like to use it for bronzer. I just love the way that this brush diffuses the the bronzer on, it's never going to look choppy or cakey, and it's never going to lay down too much bronzer, which is why I love it so, so much, because it is tapered and the bristles are shorter at the end and then get longer towards the top. So it just diffuses everything so beautifully. Can't forget under the chin. So we take care of those double chins. And then I am going to add just a little bit of contour today, not too much. And I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contouring Palette, which looks like this. I've raved about this. You guys, it is so good and so affordable. This shade right here is like perfection for contouring. It's a little bit more yellow based than the other contour powders that I have, which is why I like it so much, because it's not so warm, but it's also not ashy and cool. And I'm taking that same contour by Wet n Wild, and I'm just going to dip my little nose contour sponge in it and carve out my nose just a little bit. So once I have that powder down, I'm just going to take this Real Techniques, what is this? The Deluxe Crease Brush, and I'm just going to blend that out. Because nobody wants two stripes going down the center of their face, or at least I don't. And I've actually been applying highlighter before I go in with bronzer, so I'm really mad that I didn't do that today, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and go in with it now. So I'm going to be using another Wet n Wild product. I feel like I'm using like multiples of different brands, which is kind of random. I didn't mean for that to happen, but that's okay. So I'm going to go in with this Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powder in the shade Precious Petals, which is kind of semi-new to me. I actually haven't had this too long. So I'm going to go ahead and just pop this at the highest point of my cheekbones. It's really, really intense and really pretty. Then for my nose, I like to get the highlighter right on the tip of the brush and then apply it directly to my nose where I want the highlighter to be. I feel like if I do it with, you know, like the flatter side, it just is a mess and gets highlighter on the side and just highlights the areas that I don't want and makes my nose look bigger, which I don't want. And then I'm just going to take my finger and apply a little bit to the Cupid's bow, or a lot of it. This stuff is pigmented. And then whatever I have left on the brush, I'm just going to dust on my chin. You guys blinded by this highlight? For my blush, I want to do something a little bit more peachy because I feel like I have a lot going on, so I want to add just a little bit of color to my cheeks. I'm just going to go in with my tried and true. This is Cantaloupe by MAC, which I know I love. So I'm just going to take my beauty blender and then that highlight shade in the Wet n Wild palette, and I'm going to pop that under my contour. I'm going to let that sit there real fast while I do my lips. I'm going to go grab it and I'll be right back. So I'm just going to let that powder sit there for just a minute while I do my lips real quick. So I'm going to go in with the MAC lip liner in the shade Strip Down. And then for lipstick, I'm going to go in with Skinny Dip by Tarte. This is one of the new lipsticks that I picked up. First of all, you guys, look how beautiful that packaging is. It's like the most beautiful thing. I love it so much. And I really like this color. It's like a really pretty like peachy nude, which is my favorite nudes to wear. So I'm just going to pop this on my lips as well, and then I'll top it off with a gloss. And because my skin tone is just a little bit darker right now, this lip color is coming off a little bit more pale than it would if I was just like, you know, my normal color. And just because I also really love gloss, I'm going to go in with the Read My Lips gloss by The Balm, and this is in the shade Snap. And I'm just going to blend my lip liner to my lipstick with this lip gloss. So now taking just a fluffy brush, I'm going to blend out that powder. And if you notice, I don't take the powder underneath all the way up like a cut line, just because I do have these little jowls right here. So if I were to bring it, it would emphasize them really bad. So I kind of camouflage them and make this kind of motion. I don't know what you would call that, but I kind of just like round it out right there. And that also really helps to slender the face if you are someone that has like a more elongated face like I do that can sometimes be round. All depending if you have, like, you know, 2 baskets of saltine chips with salsa. And I'm going to go ahead and apply a quick coat of mascara. I'm just going to be using the Maybelline Lash Sensational Full Fan Effect Mascara, which I've actually really been liking. I'm just going to apply a quick coat to my top lashes because I am going to be applying false lashes. The ones that I'm going to be using today are the Ardell number 811s, and then I'm just going to apply some mascara to my lower lashes too, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so I went ahead and just applied my mascara, my lashes that are still drying, and I also did my brows. I've been wearing my brows pretty natural recently, just a little bit of brow gel and maybe filling them in just a little bit with powder, but that is it. So this is the look, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this Get Ready With Me. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up for me because it really helps my channel just get out there and people to see it, and it also helps to let me know that you guys like these videos. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of this look and what other looks you guys want to see. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.